The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliano's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel-good vibes this morning. Our feel-good topic of the day is tips to having a successful year, because we are continuing our college week theme. So we want to talk about tips to having a successful year today. And our feel-good vibe of the day is none other than joke time with Jackie. So if you want a laugh to get your morning started, you want to make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for that. But before we get into it, let's get this episode started with our feel good warm up of the day. Now, I don't know if you noticed or if you remember, actually, last week, Jackie and I discussed some of our Beyonce highlights. You know, Beyonce turned 40. She don't look 40, but we will give her that. She's just probably gold for some people. This week, Beyonce added a new highlight to her career repertoire. She and Jay-Z announced they had a deal with Tiffany & Co. And on the extension of their About Love, that was the name of the campaign, they created a $2 million scholarship fund for students to attend an HBCU. So our question of the morning to you is, what are your thoughts on celebrities creating scholarship funds for students to attend college or university? Jackie, did you even see that announcement? Because I know a lot of people saw the actual campaign, but I don't know if a lot of people saw the actual announcement that they was doing a scholarship.
No, I missed that announcement, and I am all the way here for it.
So first of all, what did you think of the campaign? What did you think of the campaign? They're creatives, they're artists.
It was it gives you the feels.
I thought it was a very interesting concept. The title of the campaign was about love, so it's definitely lovey-dovey. It's definitely
Sensual.
A creative play on their Tiffany jewelry, because Beyonce had this really deep cut dress on the back, and they had the necklace or the jewelry piece on her back. And Jay-Z was kind of like a prop, in my opinion. He was definitely not really the main focus of the campaign. But Beyonce has done a lot of work with college students, and she's done a lot of things for students that go to HBCU specifically, and even her homecoming performance at Coachella, which was dubbed Baychella, because when she did it, it was all she did, right? She definitely did that, but every part of that particular performance was a legit HBCU homecoming. Don't get it twisted. I'm pretty sure other schools have homecomings, but nothing tops an HBCU homecoming. So I think it's pretty cool that she is just continuing to give back to students who choose to attend HBCU. But you didn't get a chance to go to an HBCU. It's unfortunate. I really wish you did, because it's a vibe. But most HBCUs are private institutions, so they don't get any funding from the U.S. government, or they're not as funded as government or public schools. And so they tend to be pricier. They tend to have a pricier price tag, and they don't have in-state versus out-of-state tuition. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people apply for it. I think it's I want to say towards the end of this month, the deadline is. And I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. Beyonce and Jay-Z continue to give back. Do you think they could do more though? Like, do you think $2 million is enough?
I was actually going to ask you the same question because you know how much tuition is. I'm like, so is $2 million actually going to cover a lot, or is it going to cover like 10 students?
Yeah. So,
but how much is it supposed to be? A full ride, a partial scholarship? Like, what's the criteria?
I didn't notice the criteria in the article that I saw. It definitely just said like, you know, $2 million was the fund, the amount that they had. I would venture to say that they would be looking to do full rides. I'm pretty sure they might have some like partial scholarships. They didn't actually say what type of student, or like, because you know how some scholarships in Bermuda, they're very specific on like what degree you're going for or like what type of school you go to. But obviously the main criteria is HBCU, but they didn't like specify you have to be an art student or you have to be doing something creative, which I thought was good because I feel like sometimes that deters people from applying for scholarships when they say it has to be this type of field or degree.
In the article you read, was it, because you said it's an extension of their love campaign, is Tiffany's included in this donation for the $2 million, or are they matching Beyonce and Jay-Z's $2 million, or are Beyonce and Jay-Z matching Tiffany's $2 million?
It looked like
just
it was
$2 million.
It's a combination partnership, so it's just $2 million. So the
all that money.
Exactly. Like that was also why I was like, I mean, and that's why I wanted to ask people their thoughts, because we talk about
the diamond alone on her, that piece of jewelry alone sitting on her neck, and I'm not knocking them because they're doing more than me. I don't have $2 million to say here you go. I don't, but I do have the knowledge to get you a tennis scholarship. That's probably about it. But that necklace alone is worth more than $2 million. So I feel like between Tiffany's using Beyonce and Jay-Z to get a different demographic, they could have put more money into the pot from the money that they're going to be getting from this demographic. That, you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And actually, I will definitely share the article with the audience, but it's a partnership, right? So it is a co-partnership between the two entities. It's not like one is doing $2 million and the other is doing $1 billion
entities.
And I think, like, Jackie, that's a great point that you raised, because that's also what I was thinking, and I wanted to get the audience's opinion on it, because, like, Beyonce and Jay-Z are billionaires, or Jay-Z is a billionaire. I don't know if Beyonce is a billionaire yet, but Jay-Z is definitely a billionaire. And I just know that they have enough wealth that that scholarship fund could be much bigger, given the panorama. Like the fact that a lot of people don't have access to some of the scholarships that they once had access to, or they haven't been able to have a great academic year, their senior year, if it was last year, or even this year, if their academic year is their senior year is this year. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of students are feeling like academic stress, and then the financial stress. Like, I feel like it definitely could have been bigger. But like you said, definitely shout out to them for even creating this fund. I feel like Beyonce and them have another fund. So
they do a lot. Like they did a lot for who was it? Hurricane Katrina survivors, and right, and then they do stuff down. I'm not sure what part of that continent, but down in Africa. I know they were bumping around doing stuff. So I know they do a lot in the world. It's just that they get a lot of kickback from those that are in the world. So I just expected them to do more than $2 million, when I'm pretty sure the vacation that they're on costs like $10 million.
Well, we're definitely not going to count this, Candace, but I do agree with you. I do agree that, especially Tiffany, right? Because Tiffany's that's long money. That's not like they just popped up yesterday and they just started to charge the amount of money that they charge for their jewelry. Like, they got deep pockets, and I'm hopeful that this is the starting point. Like this is what
to the center of the earth, deep pockets.
This is the starting point, and that they expand the amount of money that is in the scholarship, because I also think that by Jay-Z and Beyonce doing this, it should encourage other celebrities to maybe want to put something into that fund or match it like we just talked about, or be a part of it to make it bigger, because no, Beyonce and Jay-Z shouldn't be the only two celebrities creating such a fund, and they're not the only ones creating such a fund. However, I feel like if we pooled it together, we might be able to have a bigger impact.
You know, it's crazy. So they just missed the Met Gala, and that's something that they usually do annually. And looking at how Rihanna has her own benefit event, dinner, whatever, I wonder if they're going to actually have one that, like a classic or a black tie dinner or some type of event, scholarship, fundraising event to add to this scholarship fund.
I think that would be a great idea. I think that would be a great idea, which would then kind of continue the About Love campaign idea and just kind of build, like we just talked about, encouraging other people to kind of be a part of it. And no, maybe you don't have $2 million to, put up, but maybe you can buy your seat at this gala and, enjoy a nice meal, help some children get to the next level of their education, and then, make it work like that. So we're definitely going to take a quick break. Audience, if you're just joining us, go ahead and answer to let us know what you think about celebrities creating scholarship funds for students to attend college. We're going to switch into our feel-good topic of the day, so make sure you do not go anywhere. Jackie and I will be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, our feel-good warm-up of the day was to talk about the celebrities that have created scholarship funds, and what are your thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments if you didn't get a chance to answer that. Jackie and I are going to switch over to our feel-good topic of the day. We're keeping it all in the school theme, in the college student theme, but this applies to any students. And I see that we have Rashida Godwin in with us. Good morning to you, Rashida. Thank you for joining us. Now, Jackie, so we asked our audience on Instagram what were some of their tips for a successful year, which we're going to talk about. But I do want to get the audience that are live with us this morning to give us their tips for a successful year. And I thought I pasted it in the thing, but I didn't. So real quick.
Boop, that's fine. Can I tell
Here's the question. Yeah, you can absolutely tell yours, but I just wanted to bring it up so that people had a chance to remember it, because as we talk, we might lead them astray. So what is your top tip for having a successful year, whether it's school or it's just a great year in general?
Do not procrastinate. Make a task list. Put all your assignments, you gotta put them down in so you know how you do a multiple choice or an exam, and they say go do the questions. If you're having a hard time, go through the rest of the exam and then come back to it. I find that doing your schoolwork like that works as well. So line your subjects based on difficulty. So if you're good at math, knock that math one out, knock that English one out, and then you can spend time focusing on, say, biology or chemistry that's giving you a hard time, without having to overwhelm yourself with I have to get this done because I have to get those assignments done. Those assignments are done, and then that way you can focus on this one. If by chance you get the assignment in class, this is for high school, and I've done it in college as well. It's nice if you've finished the assignment that you got to do in class, to then go and look over your homework that you have to take home. And that way, if you have any questions, the teacher is physically there, and you can bring them over and have them look over the work with you. Sometimes you can even have the assistance of your teacher right there and do the homework and hand it in right there. That way. And then sometimes I noticed I did that in math. Math was one of my favorite subjects. So I was able to do the school work while I was in class. And then if I felt like I needed extra credit, I'll be like, so by the way, since I finished all of this, can I actually get some extra credit? And they're a little bit more, they're less hesitant to give you the extra credit if you already got your work done that needs to be done, and they can mark it right there. It's just less work. Teachers are more inclined to give you something.
It's less work all around. Well, kind of asking for extra credit, but it is less work for them, as in one less homework assignment, they have to grade, like you said, later. I just want to give some shout outs to those that are joining us. Good morning to you, Karen Simmons, and good morning, Kathy Rogers. Thank you for joining. As you're joining us, do let us know what is one thing that leads you to have a successful year. Jackie shared a good bit, and so we will kind of summarize some of this for you. Or some of you may have the exact same ones as Jackie. I see that Karen Simmons has one. She says, setting goals that I write down to keep track of. And I think that kind of aligns with what you were saying with, like, you know, writing everything down and make sure you know exactly what it is that you want to do. And I can say one of the things that you mentioned that I thought you were going to kind of go off.
I probably haven't made it yet.
When you started, so I'm gonna try to beat you to it. An agenda. I feel like one thing, when I used to go to school, I used to get really excited for the agenda. Like, I don't know why, I'm a nerd, but I used to get so excited for the agenda because the cover would change and you need the little, like, the hologram thing, you like turned it. I really geeked out on that. But I also geeked out on the fact that having an agenda allowed me to kind of, like you said, write everything down, know when homework assignments are coming up, when research papers are due, all of that, when you have like meetings at school, all of that good jazz. And I like the little ruler that help you figure out where today was, and these stickers. Like, for me, that really kept me organized. And then when I got to college and they didn't give those out at first, or I didn't, the first one, I didn't receive one. And I was like, wait, you guys don't do agendas? Like, how am I going to figure this out? Like, I am lost without an agenda. We did get them there at Spelman. I don't remember getting at the Bermuda College, but I could be mistaken. I probably did get it, and it just slipped my mind. But if you don't get an agenda from your school, get a planner. Most planners are academic planners, so they are set up to start when most school years start, and then they tend to end in July or right before the school year is going to end. So that's definitely a pro tip if you are someone who tends to forget things, or you just want to be super organized. An agenda or planner is going to be your very best friend. I see we have a comment from TB9. He says, get your sleep in. Let's talk about sleep. Because if there's one thing about sleep that we have realized as we have gotten older, is that sleep is very important. I know, Jackie, okay, when you were younger, you know, when your parents would have to tell you take a nap, did you fight naps, or were you someone who was like, yeah, I love a nap, I'll take a nap today?
So my household isn't traditional because they didn't do the 9 to 5. So when my dad was coming home, there would be times where the house had to be quiet because he's just like, I'm taking my nap. I don't want to hear any noise. I have to go work. So like, you're gonna have to either go play outside at the back of the neighborhood where I can't hear you, or you're gonna have to like be quiet. So we'd be quiet, and being in a quiet household will bring your energy down and it'll relax you. And then next thing you know, you're napping. The whole house is having a siesta. So it became a part of our routine. And my dad would be like, all right, you got a long day in the hot sun, or you got a match coming up. You got to go home, get a nice shower, and take a nap. So it became a part of my routine from young. So I love a little nap. Ask my friends. I'm like, guys, it's nap time. They're like, we know, we see it. We see
the time. We're looking at the clock as well. I can say I have become a lover of naps since since college. So since having the break in my schedule and being able to, like, you know, get a quick cat nap before a really intense class or after a really intense class has definitely helped me. I do remember being a young kid who was like, nap. After kindergarten, I was like, I would probably be the one still sitting up during nap time, like taking a little while to go to sleep. It actually can take me a little while to go to sleep or take a nap. But when I take a nap, it
takes me like 10 seconds to take a nap.
Jack is like nap on demand.
Like my head hits the pillow and I'm like, and then I'll wake at a 5-minute cat nap, 15-minute cat nap. I wake up like, take on the world. I used to get in trouble at Berkeley. Because I take a nap, and I'll be like, but I've finished my class assignment. Like what you want me to just sit here? And
I did. They want you to just sit there and pay attention to nothing.
Like, so I remember getting kicked out of class from my nap, but I love a good nap. Definitely take your naps when you can. It makes you so much more productive. Your attitude is better. We have this comment from Karen. She says, a nap is a part of my regular routine even now, and I am seasoned. Listen, I definitely feel like the nap campaign, like we're going to have to start a nap campaign. Like it's going to have to be forever. It's a part of every stage of your life. It's not just for
the young children, which I understand they do need more hours of sleep in the day than we may need. However, I definitely feel like what Karen said, it should be a part of your regular routine, because it definitely,
I
like Jackie was just saying, it helps make you productive.
I mean, not that I know most people, because of the restrictions that were given last night, are going to be working from home, so they'll be able to take their nap. But I think, and I'm probably going to get in trouble, I think that every company should have a nap room.
I don't think you're not going to get in trouble, because I feel like
they should have a nap room.
In the world, they have that. Like, someone was telling me in California, they do have spaces where you can just like go take your little nap.
I know Google had it.
SCAD actually has nap pods. So we had Tashal on Monday, and he went to Savannah College of Art and Design. That's what SCAD stands for. And I know in their Atlanta campus, because I had a few friends that went there, they had nap pods. Like, they had legit, like, these long things, and you could like sit in them. Like, it did have it where you could sit upright, and it did have where you could lay it all the way down. And then it had the thing where you could close it over and just take a quick nap. And I was just like, why doesn't Spelman have this? What is going on? Mind you, they were funded and supported by a lot of big companies that understood the benefit of not only having that, but knowing that creatives don't have a traditional schedule, whereas those that work in like the business sector tend to have like a regular 8 to 5, 9 to 5 kind of situation, whereas creatives tend to be like night owls, or they work like all throughout the day. So I thought I understood why they did it, and I was just like, everyone needs to get like scared and get a nap pod.
My office, so when we used to run the facility at Albert, my office would turn into my nap room. I would close if I didn't want to go home to take a nap, I would close the facility. Like, I'll shut it from like, say, 12 to 1. I'll close the doors, be back at 1, and I will put the AC on, and I'd lay my little, not really a sleeping bag, but I'll have my cushions and stuff, and I'll lay on, and I'll pass out. And I'll wake up an hour later, ready for the day.
Ready to go. And looks like Carlton Fleming says, well, yeah, for the rest of the day, right? Carlton Fleming says, in my London office, they have sleep pods. Listen, the trend is coming. I feel like the fact that people have these in their office is definitely a sign that it's going to happen for those of us that don't have it yet. Because like Jackie said, she just created her own nap room. However, I definitely feel like companies should make that investment, because not only does it help with mental health, but it helps with physical health. Like, it helps with, if you didn't get a good night's sleep, maybe your children were up last night.
You got to rest your eyes.
And you do need to rest your eyes if you're looking at computer screens all day.
Some of you are looking at 2 and 3 computer screens and going back and forth and hyperventilating and not wearing your blue light glasses. You're straining your eyes, and then you got time to straining them more. Exactly.
Yep. There's definitely a lot of
not getting paid enough. Sorry.
No, we definitely get paid enough. It's definitely something we just need to consider when we think about our eye health. Because even when I went to my eye doctor, I now have a Chrome extension that pings on my web browser, and it tells me to look away. And so I'll be in meetings and like getting ready to do something, and the thing will ping, and my coworkers will be like, oh, it's time for us to look away from the screen. I'm like, yes, it is. You've been looking at it too long. Because I know they probably haven't looked away in a while, but then also for myself, because I spend a lot of time looking at the screen, it is a great reminder. If you're just joining us, do let us know your tips to having a successful year. We did ask our Instagram audience, and we're actually going to bring some of their comments into the conversation now, so that Jackie and I can maybe discuss them a little bit more, and you, the live audience, can discuss them with us as well. The first one is from Mikea, the specialist. She says, carpool and don't cause traffic delays. Now, if you live on the West End and the island, you feel this very personally. This is something that probably is the bane in your existence. If you're on the East End of the island, you are blessed to not have such experiences. But Jackie, you've lived on the West like your entire life here in Bermuda. Before the panorama, and even since we kind of started to open back up and schools have gone back in, have you noticed the shift in the carpool and the whole traffic situation? And do you wish more people would carpool?
I'd absolutely wish. So, as you said, I was thinking back to when I used to go to Berkeley, and if I stayed over my cousin's house, I wouldn't be able to catch the ferry because they stayed Kaiba Pass. So we'd have to get in traffic, and you'd have to navigate all through Orge Road to get to the front of the line where you come back on South Shore, and it's just too much. I shouldn't be going through this. And then we tried to carpool, so there's one last car that's rushing in. I, as an adult, built my schedule around missing that traffic. So if I have to go into the office, like I say I had to open up the shop down at Elbow, I would be at the shop at 7:00 to avoid the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And then if somebody else was opening up, or even how I'm at the tennis stadium now, my class would be like, oh, can I do an 8:30 lesson? No, I will see you at 9:15, 9:30. That way I'm still in traffic, but it's not as bad. I don't want to, and I'm on a bike. I'm avoiding it, and I'm on a bike. And even to this day, like if I was to say today, no, because now there's like 18 traffic lights. We have like 30 traffic lights spread out throughout the island. I have no desire to rush in during 9 and 5 o'clock traffic.
That reminds me of the traffic light festival that Sean put up, Mr. Photogenic put up. Everyone was doing the certified lover boy memes, and he did the Bermudian version, which was just all the traffic light graphics. And I was like, even though I'm not someone who has to deal with that as a driver or a rider, I definitely was like, this hits, like this resonates, because I hear people talking about it all the time, and I'm just like, yes, they're just popping up out of nowhere. And then they happen to have the industrial action where they didn't have the workmen out, so you had to wait on the light, and there was like no one on the other side, but the light was still red on your side, and you were just like, I know there's no one on the other side, but I have to wait because it just might be that one person that comes around the corner.
Yeah. And they everybody's speeding because they're all angry that there's lights, so they're like, it's like NASCAR. And it's just like, I went down to my goddaughter's yesterday, and I automatically went Harbor Road, so that's one traffic light. Then I got down, she stays Redna, down Redna Road. Mm-hmm. So then they have another one. Where is it?
I know it's in like the
Middle Road, right after what is it called?
Don't ask me. You're doing terrible with your direction.
The convenience store. Belvin's. It's right after Belvin's. And it's just like, when did this happen? Where did this come from? Because it weren't
like the graphics said, they popped up. It's a festival. They just decided to pop up. And I want to get to this comment by Karen Smith. We're going back to the nap conversation. Yes. She said, I had a nap even when I was a teacher. Door closed, all electronics on silent or vibrate for at least 20 minutes. If my students were bouncing off the wall, a nap quiet time with music was encouraged. Listen. Mm-hmm. Not only do I highly recommend that outside of the classroom, I definitely highly recommend that in the classroom, because like she said, that's a definite way to just calm everyone down. And Jackie mentioned it too, like when her dad was taking naps, even though she was kind of still full of energy because the household was kind of in a calm state, you had no choice but to also kind of be calm and go along with the flow. So now I want to get back to the comments we got from our audience on Instagram on tips to having a successful year. We're obviously specifically starting with school because school is back in for most of our middle, primary, high school, as well as college students. So this one comes from Larry Marshall Jr., Burpee 21. Do it early. And I think, Jackie, you alluded to this before when you were talking about being in the classroom and, if you got your homework assignment. Yeah, don't procrastinate. Do your homework assignment if you have it if you get it before, class is over and you still have some time in the class to work through it. And then you also talked about doing your easier subjects first and then your harder subjects after that. Elaborate more a little bit on how that helped you, like have success in some of your classes that maybe weren't as easy for you to kind of get through.
I don't know, it's kind of self-explanatory. So basically I was very good at math and English. So if they had I had a book worth of math problems and I had to write an essay, I was very good at my math problems. I don't know, it came easy to me. But if I did something like, say,
because you mentioned biology and chemistry. Specifically, and I know a lot of people struggle with STEM type classes. So, like, what was the benefit of waiting till you did like your subjects that you're like, okay, I'm really good at these. Once these are done, I'm like super confident, and then getting into the classes where you're like, these aren't my favorite subjects, but I gotta do it.
So, like when biology came across, you had to read a lot more, and in order for me to actually absorb versus just speed read, I was able to relax into it. And if I didn't understand it, go back and read it versus saying, you're fighting yourself, you're having anxiety, basically an anxiety attack, you're overwhelmed, you're just trying to get these words through and nothing's actually being retained or digested. So you still don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. You're just reading words off a page and you were able to calm down and go back and not get mad at yourself or frustrated. So you'd be like,
I understand it, yeah.
Because now instead of me rushing, I was able to get through these with ease. That's all done. That's taken care of. And now I can focus on this. And if it gives me problems, I still have the rest of the day to get it done versus I got to get this done because I have to get this done. This is done.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care. Like, I actually don't care about this anymore. They're back in my backpack.
Yep.
This one, I could just relax through, watch TV as I'm doing it, come back to it. And then, it was just mentally and emotionally, it was just less hectic. And when you're less hectic, everything is just more clear. Get clarity.
Yes, and you can get through it. And I think that's kind of what you were alluding to, is being able to like focus and be able to put all your energy into it. And I actually want to bring a tip that I read in Me One, which is the autobiography of Paulo Camargo. And he mentioned how with the subjects that he struggled with, he would read the glossary of the textbook first before reading the chapters assigned, because that would help him when he came across words and concepts that he didn't really understand. He kind of already had that the definition in his head. And I was like, that may have helped me with my sciences, because science was just not my jam. Like, I just could care less about science. Like, if I got a C in chemistry, I was like, well done, Teresa, because it was just not, I was just not getting it. And if I had that approach, if I had maybe thought of that, or someone had shared that tidbit with me, I probably would have got a B. I probably wouldn't have tried to get the A. I would have definitely been okay with getting a B. I probably may have gotten up to an A had I just had the mindset to like search for the answers before I actually got to the problem, which I thought that was really cool.
And for like students, I'm very much a blurt out the question person, because if I put my hand up and I wait, I lose confidence in my question. I'm just like, this is probably dumb. But if not, I'll be like, I'll cut the teacher off sometimes. So they'll say X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I'm dumb. I don't know what that means. You're going to have to break it down. I don't know. Yep. Can you? Yep. So versus them waiting for you to say, yes, Miss Lambert, how can I help you? Because some people have condescending tones, and then they'll shut me down. It shut me down. And I'm a big personality. So you can imagine the shy person that's not okay with asking questions or being put on the spot. Yeah. I say, blurt it out.
Ask your questions when you have the teacher in front of you. And even Jacky mentioned that earlier, when you have your assignments, if you can take a look at it before you leave the class and you have a question, something you don't understand, ask the teacher, because you have them right there. Because when you're home, you might not have them. And, sometimes you take homework home to your parents and they're looking at you like, girl, this is not it. This is not the way math was taught when I was there. So I'm going to need you to find someone else to help you with that. And I want to get to some audience comments. So Misha Fubler is saying, keep your files organized and make sure you have backups. In the age of technology, the backups part we cannot stress enough, because, and even now that we have things like Google Drive and OneDrive, and sure, yes, you can start your documents online and save them to the cloud. Sometimes the cloud don't be saving what you typed. And so it's absolutely a pro tip and a key to have backups. Jacky, do you have something to back up your computers with? Your computer?
I have my external hard drive, the terabyte. Perfect. I got that early. But as you're talking about files, back in the day, we used to have the fax machine and photocopier. So what I would do is I would actually, my mom got me hip to this young. She had her own file cabinet. She gave me my own little drawing section, was to photocopy my assignments, because I learned the hard way in S2. I don't know if you remember. Was it S2? Yes, I don't know if you remember, but we signed a petition to get rid of a teacher. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I probably did sign.
Okay. Anyway, we signed a petition to get rid of a teacher because she was
actually I do remember this.
Right. So she took some people's schoolwork. So I actually had to do summer class because they had no record of my schoolwork. So having gone through that and having to redo that course that I was actually killing, I was murdering that course. It was math. So I learned from there to copy all my assignments. So I will copy the assignment when it was blank, and then I'll copy it when it was marked. That way I had all my grades. So if anything was to go missing on the teacher's end, I had it.
Copy.
So I had a record.
And that's so I want to get to this comment. That's smart. And I want to get to this comment from TB9. He says, when working on a project on the computer, save often. And I think that kind of, I wanted to bring it in because it's similar to what you were just saying, because you said, even though it was paper and you knew you had a record of the work, like i.e. you did it, but because the teacher didn't submit it, it looked like you didn't have the grade, or the teacher didn't add your grades. It looked like you didn't have the grades. So that kind of aligns with this. Make sure you save often, whatever way you have to do, whether it's on the computer or, in Jackie's example, physically, have a copy of that, because you never know. Even the most well-intentioned save button might not save. Okay, so I want to get to one more comment before we go into another commercial break before our Feel Good Vibe of the day. Rashida Godwin says, sitting up in front of class and not talking to your classmates until class is over. Now, one thing I have to say about this, the talking part, I feel like the talking part can lead to collaboration and maybe understanding, because even Jackie said, you know, ask questions. Sometimes the teacher doesn't answer the question in the way that helps you understand. I don't know if you've experienced this, Jackie, where like you've asked a question and it's like, was that my answer? Was that what I was looking for? And then someone may have explained to you, or you've been able to explain to
talk. It's just talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know the gossip. Like, we all know we shouldn't gossip in class. But I feel like sometimes the talking can be helpful. Like sometimes, not the gossip talking, but the talking amongst your peers, because you as peers, you know, can help each other.
You're like, you understand what he's saying? You don't understand? I don't know. I think we don't understand.
And that's what I mean. Like sometimes you don't realize, like some people are talking to, like, you know, get up, like, okay, we both don't understand that. Maybe someone else don't understand too. So let's ask the question. But yes, absolutely no gossiping or talking in class. And I remember when we first started, like cell phones were like just starting to become a thing for middle and high school students. And the whole cell phone thing was the biggest stressor for our teachers. They were just like, no cell phones in class. And that was the text. That was the gossiping for us back then. It was the texting on the phone. It really wasn't, we wasn't using it to Google anything. We was texting.
You know what's crazy? Like, I think back to when I had my phone in school and who I was texting, and it was usually my parents. And it's just like, so do I really have to be here?
It was definitely our parents, but every once in a while you might text a friend in class. But then it was like, well, you're right here. And I think at that age and that point, we never really text in the same room with someone. Nowadays, you can see a lot of people texting people in the same room.
Because it's easier. You know how much buttons? Just to spell out one word, you press the button like 10 times. So.
It definitely took us a while. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with our Feel Good Vibe of the day. So if you're ready to get a laugh, to get your morning started, make sure you stick around, because Jackie is going to be back with Joke Time.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us today, we talked about the fact that Beyonce and Jay-Z partnered with Tiffany & Co. to create a scholarship fund for HBCU students, or students, prospective HBCU students. And our feel good topic of the day was tips to having a successful year. So if you didn't get a chance to answer any of the questions or provide your thoughts on it, feel free to do so right now in the comments. Make sure you let us know what you thought of today's episode. We're going to get into joke time with Jackie. If this is the first time you're joining us, Jackie is going to ask me a dad joke. I'm going to try to figure out the answer. 9 times out of 10, I will laugh at the answer as I'm trying to figure it out, because I might be able to guess it. But let us know your reactions by dropping an emoji in the comments, whether you think Jackie's jokes are funny or if you think we should try again next time. Over to you, Jack.
What do you call a man with a rubber too?
What do you call him? A man?
What do you call a man with a rubber too?
Bouncy. Bouncer. A bouncer.
Roberto.
A Roberto.
Oh my God. How do you make the number 1 disappear?
Divide by 0.
You add the G in front of it, and then it's gone. Why are your fingers the most reliable part of your body?
Why are your fingers the most reliable part of your body? There's 10 of them.
You can count on us.
Wait, who has that in their jingle? Marketplace, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it Price Right? It's one of those. I feel like someone has that in their thing, and I think that is so hilarious. Not only because that works, it counted out the words, but like that you sang it like the jingle. That's what really made me think about it.
I had to do the jingle.
I mean, that's the only way. That's the only way it works. That's the really only way it works. As always, we hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation where we'll be talking about dealing with homesickness, whether you are in school, studying abroad, or living abroad. So until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.